What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? I hope you are enjoying this back-to-back 10-minute tease tutorial sessions that we're doing here. And this one is a beautiful one that actually is inspired by two of our Innate Creatives members. So, and of course, my lovely niece who is infatuated with unicorns. So for this one, I'm going to show you how to change this design out within 10 minutes, and then also how you might want to modify it based on what your end use is. So this one's for Candace. I don't know if Candace is with us tonight, but she's been doing some amazing stuff in the group as well. So she's been on her artwork and her execution is impeccable. So I just want to go ahead and give her a shout out, and maybe she'll watch this video a little bit later if she's not here with us right now. And I know that, that she'll know exactly what I'm talking about. She's doing some great work. All right, so first things first, when you have a template, the first thing you want to change out is the photo. So let's go ahead and right click and find out where this photo is. So if I right click, I can see here under photos, I have the unicorn, and then I have Candace's image there. So I'm going to choose Candace's image. And then that way, when I bring in my new image, it's going to sit right on top of this image, and I'll know to turn the old image off. Now I'm going to try our trusted remove BG to pull our image, and I'm literally dropping it from my folder, dropping it into this browser, and see if it's going to cut out our image. And it did a beautiful job cutting out the image there. So let's go ahead and download it. And this is a big time saver. All right, so let's go ahead and save that. And I can pull it either from my folder, or I can even pull it directly from my browser. Hover over Photoshop. You see how it turns into a plus sign? That means I can add it to my artboard. And I'm going to go ahead and stretch it out to the size that I want. And then I'm going to hit enter to lock that in. All right, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to change colors and everything, but it will be two different colorways that you'll be able to go back and forth between. So in order to preserve everything like I have it, I'm going to group everything. And I'm going to call this one purple and teal. And then I'm just going to duplicate this. Now I don't suggest you duplicate everything. It will definitely change the size of your graphics. I'm probably not going to continue to keep it duplicated for the purposes of keeping the file as small as possible, because these are already really large images. But I'm going to look at the colors in her dress there, and I see that sunflower yellow and pink. So I'm going to change this one to say yellow and pink. Right, and I have my purple and teal turned off. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and select the old photo and turn that one off. We have our new photo. I'm going to bring it over a little bit so that we can see the unicorn along with our beautiful little model here. And another thing that I want you all to get used to doing is turn on your guides so that you can make sure that you're not going to cut off anything important. So I don't have words coming outside of this little dotted box, or any important features of the face or anything like that. At the most, the tip of the unicorn, the tip of the horn of the unicorn might get turned off, cut off, and possibly like the finger over here. But nothing important, like the eyes are within this area. All important text is within this box, and that's what you want to be aware of. I see a lot of times people make their images and their text go all the way out here to the sleeves and to the sides of the shirt, and you're just really risking cutting it off based on what size shirt you may be printing. Okay, so this is kind of a safe area for adult small all the way up to a 3X. All right, and I see we're going to have to clean this image up just a little bit because of the square photo. I can kind of see a little bit of the square lines here, but that's no problem. We know how to fix that. We're going to add a layer mask. So down here at the bottom, I'm hitting add layer mask, that rectangle with the circle inside. And as we know by now, white is going to reveal and black is going to conceal when it comes to a layer mask. So automatically you'll see the mask is white here. We're going to grab a paintbrush, make sure that we have a soft round brush selected, and this is typically you're going to see your general brushes, you're going to see a soft brush and the hard brushes. So just choose a soft round brush, and let's choose 600 as our pixel size. And that's a pretty good size brush there. You'll see what we're going to do with it in just a moment. The next thing you want to make sure that, let's say for instance, I'm going to show you what this looks like. Let's say you had a different color selected here and it's not black and white. Make sure that you choose your default black and white colors, and then go ahead and use the reverse button to reverse that black to the foreground now. So now I'm going to be painting with black. Black is loaded up on my brush. I'm just going to paint, and I'm not painting on the image. Notice that I am painting over here on the mask. You see that mask turning black over there on top of the white? And it's just gently fading off my image here. And that's it. That's how I avoid those random cutoff lines there. I could do the same thing to the top of the hair here because it was just barely cut off at the top. However, the words cover that up, and a lot of times that's what I do too. Use my design elements to hide or reveal what I want to be seeing. All right, so we said we're going to do the pink and yellow here. So first things first, let's see if we can change the color of these flowers. I'm going to right click and go to my flowers. And within this folder here, it says that I'm going to extend this out so you can see the name of this layer here. And it says red magenta. That means you want to go to this hue saturation layer, and instead of changing it by master, you want to go to the reds and change the red hue. And I'm just moving it left to right here. And I think I'm going to choose that to be that hot pink color. I can pull down the saturation if I don't want it as vibrant. And then I can make it a lighter color or a darker color. So in this case, I'm going to make it a little bit lighter because I want it to have that kind of magenta hot pink look to it. And then it already has yellows in the design, so I'm going to leave that alone. And it just so happens that if I go to, that was me changing out the reds, I'm also going to go to the magentas. And if I want to see what changes in magenta, I can crank it all the way up, the saturation, or all the way down, and I get the chance to see what's affected by that. And if you see, the lighter pink flowers are the ones that are really affected by that. And I like it right about here because it looks like the light pink that's in the background of that dress. So that looks good to me. We have our little rainbow beam. I'll turn it off and turn it back on so you can see that little beam of light shining down on her. And then we have a gradient that we can change this background color. So let's change that background color gradient. Right now it's going from like a purple. We'll just double click on it. You'll see it goes from a purple to a magenta, a little bit of a light yellow. Then it goes to teal and back to purple. So we can change each of these color stops. So let's say that we want to kind of stay within these pinks and yellows. Let's just say we want it straight up pink and yellow. I might grab this lighter pink here. I might leave that light yellow there on this color stop. I'll probably make it a brighter yellow. And I'm going to get rid of the other color stops. I'll take this bright pink, and if you click one time on a color stop and then click anywhere else on the line where there is no color stop, it duplicates that color stop. So I'm doing that just so I can pull that pink in and see how I like it. And if you see, there is Looks like it's like a good little rotation. I'm not sure if I have this on linear or angle, but I'm going to check in just a moment and I'll show you how that is done, which is a little bit more orangish. There we go. I wanted a little bit more of an orange yellow there. All right, so at this point I have the pink to light purple, and really I can even change this light purple out. I want it to be more of a pure pink, so I'm going to move it more towards the magenta. There we go. And then at this point I have it on the angle style, but I can also change it to linear. Is real familiar for most folks. You'll see that it just gave a little linear from left to right here at an angle, and I can change the angle. I can also change the amount of color that's shown by each color here. As well as just create some really unique kind of combinations and patterns of color. If you're going to do the angle, you need to start with the same color that you end with. That way, and I'm going to show you what that angle looks like. So it kind of repeats that color. Almost like, I think it goes clockwise. And if you want to go counterclockwise, you hit reverse there. All right. Now, one thing I want to show you here is the color mode that I have this on is hue right now. So it's changing this existing galaxy color by the hues. But you can choose whatever blend mode you want that kind of speaks to you. So I want to show you some of those: darken, multiply, color burn, linear burn, and these all vary depending on what type of colors you have on top of these background images. So that kind of gives you this really kind of fairy tale faded out look, the screen does, because it shows the yellows and the pinks, which I really like that. I like that screen mode for that. And this one, overlay, it's kind of cool, but not necessarily what I would want. Hard light is letting a little too much of the color show and not enough of the galaxy image coming through. And like I said, you just play with these. This one is pen light, and that one looks very whimsical as well. So this one is hue, and we have color. Oh, I like color too. I think I'm going to go with color instead of hue. All right, so I still have my little rainbow beams up here. If I turn them off, you can see what that looks like. So I'll keep that on. I think I'm going to go with color. So it was either, for me, it was either color or screen. And screen gave it a really kind of washed out background, but it looks really pretty with that rainbow. And then color just gave me my good pure colors there. Okay, so that's color. And then this one is, where is it? Lighten. So lighten was not lighten. What did I say? Soft light. No, I lied. Screen. That's what it was. Screen. So for me, it would either be screen or color. Okay, so I'm going to go with color just because it's going to pop out more at you through the screen. All right, and the next thing we have to do is change the text or the colors of the text. So in this case, I'm just going to straight up choose from my artboard here. So let's say in a field, I'm going to right click, select in a field. Now if I want to change this text, I can double click here on the T and I can just restart typing. Okay. Or if I had my move tool selected, I can just double click directly on my text and it will know that I'm trying to edit that text. Okay, so as far as editing the color, you just double click on the FX over here and you go to the color overlay And instead of this blue color here, I'm going to choose, let's choose a dark pink. And I'm just selecting from random areas in my graphics. So that will be the dark pink. I go here to horses, double click there. And let's say here for the color overlay, let's say I want to choose the orange. I might choose the yellow, but sometimes yellow is not going to translate how you want it. So that's why a lot of times if I choose to use yellow, I'll do like a orangish yellow. Okay, so that one looks good to me. And then for the Be a Unicorn, if you right click on this one and choose that text, go to the effects, you'll notice that it does have a gradient overlay instead of a color overlay, but you can change it to a color overlay by simply selecting color overlay. But I'm going to go to the gradient overlay and, oh, let me do this. Let me save the gradient. I didn't save the gradient earlier. So for my background image, I'm going to go to this gradient field, double click here. And while we were making our gradient, a very, very smart thing to do when you make your own custom gradient is to go ahead and hit new here, and it will save a version of the gradient there in your gradient palette. So now when I go to edit my text, go to the FX, I'm double clicking there, go to my gradient overlay, and I should be able to scroll down, and voila, I see my existing colorway there, that gradient. Okay, and all I hit is okay. And that's a done deal. Ready to roll. So Veronica, and I think Veronica might be a newbie. She sent me this beautiful image of her little one, and I'm glad we got a chance to use it. I do have a couple more. I don't know if we'll be able to get to them tonight. It's not too late yet. So I'll probably check out for a little bit, come back at 9 o'clock and do a couple more templates that I have been meaning to put out there that I haven't put out there yet. So we'll be doing a remembrance version. Well, and I'm going to choose a different color scheme so I can really show you how to change these flowers and stuff. So if you want to make them violets, maybe we'll do a purple color scheme. I think the flowers are definitely something, and it doesn't have to be remembrance. I wanted to show you how you can use some of these elements regardless of what the type of template is. You can visualize it and use it for another application. So you can think of birthdays, you can think of just different events, weddings, anniversaries. Even if it's not a t-shirt, it could be a pillow, it could be, you could be doing a room, and I want to encourage you all to do bedding, curtains, all of that good stuff. So we're going to do a class on Thursday where we're going to take the watercolor theme and do the home decor items. So pillows, curtains. I want you all like really think about those curtains, because curtains are like statement pieces in a room. It's almost like artwork. And it's, speaking of that, you can also do it for artwork. So you can sublimate the fabric that you might get, microfiber fabric, any kind of polyester fabric. You can wrap a canvas. You can just frame it in a nice, large glass frame. You can do so many different things with sublimation, and I want you all to start thinking outside the box and showing me what you're doing with these templates outside the literal box of this t-shirt template. Okay, so let me see if y'all have any questions, anything that you want to see changed out or modified on this template, and then I'll take any general questions. So I just want y'all to see the difference, version 1 here and version 2. And I just have to say that y'all have some real cuties. They just make me want to design. Yes, Ken, the class is the NA Academy class. It's going to be 108, I believe. Course number 108, and it will be this Thursday. Course number 109 is going to be Sunday. And every single week, if you're in the academy, you'll get those courses unlocked for you. You'll start out with 101 and 104, and then you'll get the other courses unlocked every week. Now, if you want to attend a live course, then you absolutely have that option. The live courses are available for you to purchase prior to the live session. And if you don't catch the live, you always have the recording. So either way it goes, I try to make sure that I have y'all covered. All right. So any other questions that y'all have? I'm going to take a small break and reconvene. I think we're going to do a Spider-Man inspired birthday shirt. Maybe I'll get a chance to do the Black Panther one. I'm not sure if I'll get a chance to do that one tonight. And of course, this remembrance shirt, we're going to go ahead and do this one too. Oh, as a matter of fact, you know what I'll do? I guess I'll put a timestamp on this one, because this remembrance shirt I can do with this video. Because it's very, very similar, it just has a little bit different images that are included with it. So let's see, for this one, we have the gates. And yeah, let's go ahead and do this one too while y'all are here. So it's a very, very similar concept here. Let's see if I have an image ready for this one. Let's go to my photos y'all sent me. And although this is a remembrance image, I want to show you that you don't have to do it as a remembrance image. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and once again, I'm going to show you how versatile the templates are, that you don't have to use them for a particular end use, but you can use it as inspiration. And let's see here. I have an image that I wanted to bring in. And this one I think is a remembrance image. So I'll pull this one in and then I'll show you the switch up. Okay. So again, we're looking for the photo. So we're going to right click on the photo and go to, this is Plachette. And if I use your image in a template, please let Erica know so that she can tell you the steps to getting the template for free. And we can make sure that you get this template as soon as possible so you can start working and playing with it. Oh, you know what I forgot to do for this one is break it down to the 13 by 19 for y'all. So we'll do that with both of them. We'll just go ahead and get it done, because y'all know me, if I don't get it done at the very moment, then it gets put on an infinite list of things to do. Okay, so we'll go ahead and change this one out as an all over, and then we'll bring both of them down to 13 by 19s. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is find my image and replace it. So this one already has the image cut out. I'm going to drag and drop it and just resize it here. And this is Tracy's beautiful photo that she submitted. And I'm going to show you what to do too. Like, let's say something like that flower is like right in the way and you want to keep that photo centered. There is a way that you can use a layer mask just to clean up that one little flower out of your way. So I have the size that I want it. I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to turn off the visibility of the other image. And of course you see that I have this hard line down here. Y'all know I don't get down with the hard lines. So we're going to soften that up. We're going to add a layer mask. Grab our paintbrush here. I made sure that the soft brush is selected. I have about 600 pixels here. If you don't have 600, just type in 600 there. And then I'm making sure that black is selected as my foreground color. And if it is not, I'm going to hit the default. And then I'm going to switch the black to the foreground. That's my shortcut way of making sure that I have pure black selected. Now I'm just brushing down here, kind of like airbrushing down here to the bottom, just to ensure that I end up with a real smooth transition from the image to the background and the flowers there. Now that I have that fade off there, I think I can make my image just a little bit bigger here. All right. Now in this case, let's say I'm going to go with, let's go with maybe like a gold or cream colorway. Some of you look for different colorways. This one happens to be pink right now. So I'm going to take this gradient fill, right click, and I'm going to duplicate the layer. Okay. So I'm going to turn off the pink, and I have my copy version here. So I don't have to worry about if I want to keep that pink, cool, it's still there. I'm going to double click on this gradient, and we're going to change it from this pink colorway to, let's do like some of the creams and the golds. Okay, so I'm going to choose the first color stop, just double click, and I'm going to choose one of these creams from her shirt. She's already got like a nice kind of cream colorway going on here. So I'll choose a lighter color. For the darker color, I might choose one of the darker colors in her garment there. And then this here, I'm kind of choosing more of like a taupe color. I'll choose this pink here, and maybe I'll choose more of this yellow gold. And then finally, this mauve color here, I'm gonna end with the same color that I started with. So if I click once here on a color stop, and then I click where there is no color stop, it duplicates that color stop for me. And then I'm gonna get rid of that pink one there. And that's just like a take on a little bit different colorway there. If I want to go with golds that I traditionally like, there's some more Vegas golds. You have some yellow golds. Oops, I didn't mean to totally undo what I just did. Well, I guess I don't have a choice. Well, we'll go with these yellows. I just wanted to show you that there are, once you create gradients, you can save them and keep coming back to them. So let's see, is there anything else I like better? And I'm just showing you some of my different kind of gradients that I have here. That pink to yellow always looks really pretty too. And I said that I was going to choose a neutral color, but I also need to show you all how to change these flowers. So I might not do a neutral color. I might do some real color so that I can show you all how to change the colors of the flowers there. And I have so many of these different colorways saved that it's kind of hard to pick from now. Okay, so now instead of this one being linear, I want to change this to where I'm going to change it to angle. There we go. And I kind of want to see something a little different here, because I'm going to change these the colors of the flower. So let's do something a little different. All right, so I have this gradient. It's already saved here. So I'm going to hit OK. And for the text, I can choose any of these colors, but I want to go ahead and see what my flowers look like. I want to see what happens with changing out some of the colors here. So I'm going to right click, go to my flowers, and you see here I have a layer that I can turn on to change it from the red and magenta, and right now it's actually changing it to purple colorway. So I'm going to duplicate that so I can keep my purple flowers, because I told you I probably was going to do a purple one. And this one I'm going to go to the reds. So instead of master, I'm going to go to reds, and I'm just going to change the hue. Let's say I want to see more of the blues there, which is going to be a little difficult to change this, and I want y'all to see why. So the blue that I'm going for is a little more of that teal color blue that's in the sky right there. And I'm going to bring the saturation down a little bit, bring the lightness up a little bit, and you'll see that it's changing some of these colors accordingly. Now that's for my reds. And I also have the ability to change my magentas. Same deal here. See how I'm changing the magentas, and now I'm kind of getting a little more of what I'm looking for. I'm trying to get fancy and kind of make it go blue to teal. There we go. And let's get in here and see what's going on with, and this is just a layer mask, so I'm not changing the original image at all, if you can see that. And I'm going to see what other color I can change to kind of get this where I want it. If I go to my yellows and bring that saturation down, I see where my yellows are. And it's really more in my grass. That's my red. Magenta, and I'm changing the range here. Now if you can't see this, this is like a slider down here at this bottom range here, and this is what I'm using to determine how much I want to stray away from or into the reds to change the red color. Yeah, let me go reset that. So that's within my yellows there. Let's see. So my yellows even have a little bit of red in them. And I'm thinking that I bring my yellows back to 0, my saturation down. And I'm going to bring all my saturation down until I figure out where this little pink is coming from. It's definitely not. See, when I bring saturation down, it should change it to gray. So if it's not changing it to gray, then I'm going to leave it alone. So I'm bringing cyans, blues, and the only thing I have left to change is my magenta and my reds. So I'm checking now to see how these are changing accordingly. There we go. That's magenta, reds. That's where it is. It's in the reds layer. So I'm going to bring even my reds all the way down, so I can see what's going on there. There we go. So I got rid of that little extra magenta that was on the outside there, and now I can bring back my yellows a little bit. And it looks a little surreal. So that's how we change it. And then this is actually like a really complicated way to change colors. But it allows you to change things by hue. Okay, so I'm also going to create a new layer and just paint my colors. So what I can do is I can take that same gradient from here. I'm going to Alt click and drag it above my flowers. So it's going to color those flowers in that kind of way. And then I'm going to right click and create a clipping mask. So it clips it only to the flower layer. And let's see, I have my yellow and my pink there. Oh, and I was supposed to Alt click and drag. I'm sorry. I think I did click and drag it, but I meant to Alt click and drag so that it created a copy. So now I have a copy there and then a copy here. And then I'm going to play with, right now it's on hue. I'm going to play with whether I want it to be on hue or color. I think I like the hue for the vibrancy. And I'm going to go ahead and cut out this flower right here because it seems like it's going to cause a little bit of problem and be in folks' faces. So I'm just going to come right here, create a layer mask. Let's go to layer, layer mask, and this one I'm just going to hide the selection. There we go. So it hit that one. And if I want for my green to kind of come through where the plants are, not the flowers, I have to be a little bit selective about where I color. So what I'm going to do, instead of the black as a layer mask, I mean the white as a layer mask, I'm going to make the black the layer mask. So it's masking nothing. And then I will take my paintbrush. Now this time, instead of a soft brush, I'm going to use a hard round brush. And then I'm going to shrink the size of my brush a little. And then now I have a black mask. I'm going to paint with white to reveal that color layer. And as you can see here, this is how you can get a little more technical on how you cut these out. And I'm going to make it a little softer of a brush. Alt, Control, and then I'm going to, you can either go up and down to make it softer or harder. So I'm going to go up to make it softer. You can go right or left to make it bigger. Or you can just right click and change the size and hardness here. All right, and then I'm just coloring on these to change my individual little flowers. You can make your brush smaller as you need to get in there. And this is yet another way you can play with recoloring stuff. I wouldn't do this, honestly, unless I just really wanted to rechange all of these colors. And then I would come back after I get them colored and kind of clean it up with the white around it. So right now I'm just revealing how the color is going to come through on these flowers. And then I would revisit where I want the green to come through. And this is just, yet another way that you can switch up colors and make it fit whatever your theme is. Now let's say I want my yellow back in the middle, then I would choose black and I would color where the yellow is. So that's a lot of work, but it's definitely doable. Especially let's say like you're changing out colors of somebody's apparel, something that they're wearing, that sort of thing. You would be a little more careful with how you're doing this. And it's not quite showing up on these pink ones over here because I have pink in that area. So I can change the angle here so I can get more of my blues on this side. And start coloring those in and changing those out. So that's just an example of how you can recolor something. Let me go ahead and disable that color mask because I'm going to have to play with this in order to get this just right for the template. So all you'll have to do is go into the gradient here and just change the colors out, because I'm going to be a lot more particular about the way that I select these flowers so that you can keep the green and change the colors of the flowers. So that's a little bit of homework on my part that I'm going to have to do. So then that way it makes it something that you can, uniquely change out. All right, and right now that's on hue. I could also change it to color, saturation, play with these blend modes. Like I said, I want you all to get real creative with how the blend modes work for you. And that linear burn looks really pretty. And just play with that. Deferred, no, I don't change the printer profile to CMYK. I actually keep it as RGB. I find that with the desktop printers, that they tend to use RGB data a little bit better than they use CMYK data. That's just me personally. Some people may say to change to CMYK. I haven't seen that work for me, but if somebody's willing to show me something where it works better, I will definitely try it and let you all know how that works out. But for me, printing on the 7710s and that sort of thing, the RGB is what I use because it's going to take what it thinks is seeing on your screen and try to relay that in terms of how it should be printing. And that's just how the desktop printers are designed. Okay. Oh, let me show you. Same thing with changing out text. You can literally double click on any text and retype there. So that's an easy way to just change out the text, keep everything the same. You can change out the color of the text by going to the name, just like we did on the other template. Double click on the FX. Go to your color overlay and choose a new color. So I like to use my artboard as my color palette. And just literally, I don't even have to click. I can just drag it, and wherever I stop, it's going to change to that color. So maybe I want to keep playing around until I find the color that really speaks to me. And then once you find it, you're good to go. You can actually copy that layer style and paste it. So let's do this. Instead of changing that color, I'm going to add a color overlay. And I'm liking these teals, so I'm going to choose that teal color. And I still have my dark pink color underneath it. So I'm going to copy the layer style for this name. And then if I select my other layers, I can hold down Control to select multiple layers. So I selected rest and in piece and right click and paste the layer style. So now I don't have to come up with that color all over again. So those are some of your shortcuts that you'll consistently use. That copy and paste layer style is going to be very much a time saver for you. Okay, yeah, Ken says he was told RGB too. Now, when you get into large format printing for offset printing and just large format printers in general, I think that is a different story. It does prefer CMYK, but in this case, when you're talking about those desktop printers, my story that I'm sticking to is RGB. Okay, and like I said, if I find something different, I will definitely let y'all know. Okay, so now we have a totally different looking design. Very, very easy to change out. Like I said, I'm going to play with the flowers there to make sure that we get a better transition of the flower colors. Where we're changing them from pinks to purples, it's not that big of a deal, but when I'm changing them from pinks to blues, I'm getting a little bit of that pink residue left over from the reds or the magentas layer. So I'm going to play with that until I don't have that issue anymore. And these flowers will be able to be changed out just along with the clouds in the background, and it'll be a simple, easy edit for you. Okay, so I'll have both of these, and I'll do the same thing to these flowers. All right. What time is it? 8:50 already? So I ended up on this thing longer than I thought. So we're going to go ahead and save everything and show you how to break it down to the 13 by 19 while I'm on this live. So let's do the yellow and pink version. And as always, go ahead and save your file. And then before you do the 13 by 19 conversion, we're going to go to File. Well, we have to let it finish saving though, because it'll tell you it's not finished saving. All right, you'll notice that I have a layer mask available for you. So you'll activate that on the foreground, the flowers, and the background. And now you see this is going to clip this into a nice pretty little mask that doesn't have a really odd square edge to it. And now we can do File, Save As. And I'll just save it without all over in the front. I do my crop tool, and now you see we'll go through this a lot quicker. Crop tool, I'll put in 13 by 19. And make sure that I have some clearance on the edges there for my margins. Hit enter. Make sure that delete crop pixels was off. Make sure that was not selected. If it is, then just undo what you just did. Deselect the crop pixels and then do your crop again. All right. So the reason why I say that is because if I disable this layer mask, I still have all of my data back there. So if I ever want to make it a bigger design or include more of the background, I have that option enabled. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is image size, and tell it that I want it to be 13, and it will automatically make the height 19. Say OK. And now this file is only 16 megabytes instead of almost 70 megabytes. So 13 by 19 file sizes are always going to be smaller than your all over shirts. So if you're not doing all overs, you never plan on doing them, then definitely go for the 13 by 19s. But if you do some all overs here and there and you want to start with the all over design, by all means, purchase the all over, and I just showed you the steps to turn it into a 13 by 19. Okay. So that is that. I'm going to take unicorn, and I'm going to make the unicorn pop outside of the mask. I just think that looks cooler. I like things to pop outside of the mask. So maybe I'll Control T on the unicorn, bring it in just a little bit so it's not hanging off the edge there. Then that way it looks a little more three-dimensional. I'll bring the photo down just a little bit too. Just so we're not hanging out too close to that margin right there. There we go. And it's just barely poking out, just like the text. It just barely sticks out from the mask there. It just looks to me like something that wasn't intended to be in a box. So it stands out. You have your little flare right there. And I'll just make sure that goes up under the unicorn. There you have it. All right, love, so I'm going to take a break, and I don't know if I'm going to come back because it's already 9 o'clock already, so I'm going to see what kind of energy I have. But if I do come back, hopefully you'll get that little notification bell that comes on and says that I'm live, and I'll be doing a couple more of these template tutorials that I've been intending to put out for some time. So I thank you for your patience. I thank y'all for just rocking with me in general. Oh, Ken's talking about RGB. So yeah, Ken, go ahead, share what you found out about the RGB. So yeah, I am doing my best to pull out this content for you all. I'm working on some other things in the background, so y'all forgive me when I go ghost for a little bit. I promise you it's not in vain. I promise you I'm working on some really, really great things in store for us as a community. So I do go on hiatuses from time to time for 2 to 3 days at a time, so I can catch up on some of these things and projects I'm working on in the background. Okay, that makes sense for the sublimation profiles to be built to convert RGB to CMYK output and not CMYK to CMYK. That it makes sense. I personally have done both ways, and I can even see both ways. I've done a combination of all types of ways, and the best way that I can describe to you, I've created a video for it, and it shows you how to do your monitor calibration, how to set up your printer settings for default printing so that you never have to change them again, and then how to print from Photoshop. So all three of those are variables when it comes to your color settings. I do not print from any other program but Photoshop. If you don't buy Photoshop for any other reason but to do your color management, it is highly advisable because at least you will have consistent results. I printed from Affinity, and as a matter of fact, even when I choose the color profile options, the same ones that I choose in Photoshop, when I print from Affinity, I get the same results as if I'm printing from Microsoft Paint, which to me kind of gives me that the program isn't quite as strong as Photoshop in those areas yet of color management. Yeah, there's definitely a significant difference in colors. So if you follow, I have a video showing you exactly how I have my personal settings and how I suggest everybody to have their settings for the True Colors ink, which shout out True Colors. Y'all check out True Colors ink on n8lab.com. That is my preferred process, and I've tried other processes. I've tried printing from other programs, and I don't get the results that I like as consistent as I like outside of the way that I showed you all. So if I find anything better, best believe I will record a new video and I will replace that old video. But for now, that's my tried and true method. I've been using it for the past few years as far as settings go. Okay. All right, loves. So I see y'all are getting tired too. Y'all dropping off like flies, probably getting ready for bed and dinner, or dinner and bed. I guess that would be the the appropriate order. And for those of you who may be staying up, I may be back this evening to record some more 10-minute tutorials for you all. All right, if you have any questions or anything that you want to showcase, make sure that you join the Innate Creatives group and then you post there, because we're able to get to your questions a lot better there. And other members who may have had similar experiences or issues are there waiting to help you and show you what they did to overcome those issues. We're all problem solvers here. We're all creatives, and we definitely are in this as a unit. Okay. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it. Let me go ahead and save what I'm working on while I'm talking. Y'all know I get to talking and I won't be saving. And I will check in with y'all. If not tonight, because I'm getting a little worn down, then I'll be back within the next couple of days to post up some more tutorials and some more templates. Yes, yes, this will be posted as a video. As a matter of fact, you can save the URL right now and you'll be able to watch it until it uploads fully, because when we do a live, it's temporarily there or processing, and then once we close out, it'll be available usually within 24 hours. So I'll make sure that we post these in the Innate Creatives group too, so you can have the immediate access to the links. All right. All right, Cybers, and I haven't seen your name yet, so I would like to welcome you if you're new to the group and new to what we're doing with Innate Creators. But definitely join us in the private Facebook group if you can, and I usually will post the links for the videos in there too. All right. Okay, loves. Well, I'm going to call it a night for right now. And I just want to say I thank you all. I appreciate you genuinely. I love y'all for real. And for now, bye.